Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we discussed about CPU, RAM, and ROM, right? BIOS settings like that. There's two more things are there. That is one is about a first motherboard and SMPS. Okay. So only small two topics only. Then we'll go for a different types of storage devices we'll discuss. What is a motherboard? This is a motherboard. Okay. This is a motherboard. It is nothing but a circuit board. Okay. A printed circuit board it is. And on the motherboard, so we can able to connect our CPU. See, there is a CPU socket, RAM slots, okay, power connectors from SMPS. Okay, you have the BIOS chipsets, and then if you see these white bars, that is called the PCI slots to connect anything like a if you want to add more USB ports, or maybe you want a audio card to be installed, or a LAN card has to be installed, then we can able to connect. Okay, for expansion cards, we can able to insert into these PCI slots. If you see this green one, the green one is a graphic card purpose. Okay, the green one is the graphic card related. So you can install a graphic card here to for extension of your graphic memory. Okay, this is a CMOS battery kind of stuff. Here it is to connect your hard disk, ID or PATA type of hard disk connectivity, SATA type of hard disk connectivity is this red one. Front panel connector. If you take a desktop, at the front panel you have power button, power LEDs, USB powers. That is also we can able to connect to this one. Okay. Some devices directly connected to the motherboard. Some are connected to some cables. Some are connected to outside. Okay. So this motherboard is a main motherboard, main circuit board, which we can able to connect devices either on the motherboard or to the motherboard. On the motherboard or to the motherboard. Okay. So where you can connect your CPU, RAM, hard disk, expansions are is to be connected. Okay. So these motherboards are different sizes, different shapes also there. Even if you have a laptop or a desktop, the motherboards are common, guys. Only thing is the different shapes, different sizes. To the on the motherboard and to the motherboard only, we are connecting all the devices. All computer components are connected to our on or to the motherboard. Some are onboard chipsets are there. For example, LAN card related kind of stuff. So you need to connect separately. It is on the motherboard only. Okay. So there is having lot of slots like a processor sockets or slots are there. Okay. Processor. This is called socket. Okay. Socket. Memory slots for RAM slots are there. Expansion slots to connect any additional adapters to it. I/O ports, input output connectors like a back panel. You can connect keyboard, mouse, like kind of stuff. And motherboard chipsets like a north bridge, south bridge, audio chipset, video chipset, a LAN chipset kind of stuff. Okay. IDE connector for a IDE or SATA connector for connecting your hard disk. Floppy disk connectors, CMOS batteries, power supply connectors, heat sinks, all these things on your motherboard. Okay. So this is a RAM slots. You can see these bars are RAM slots, and this is ATX power supply connector from SMPS to motherboard connector. Again, this is how the RAM is inserting into RAM on the motherboard. Okay. This is back panel connection. If you see PS/2 mouse connector, mouse and keyboard connectors are there. In the olden days, we are used to connect our keyboard and mouse to this PS/2 only. In the later on days, USBs are become more famous, so then we can able to connect USB keyboards because the from Windows XP onwards, the default USB drivers are there. So no need to buy any, no need to install the drivers in the OS. Before Windows XP operating system, USB drivers are not available. So that's you have to install separately the drivers to the operating system. Okay, so that time we use PS by 2 keyboard, PS by 2 mouses. And nowadays again, we started using this PS by 2. This is a earlier separate keyboard and mouse, sub two connectors are there. Now it is both are combined and make it as a one. And either you can connect keyboard or you can connect mouse also. Okay. So what is the advantage of that one is, so you can get more USB, more free USBs are available to connect different types of devices to you. Okay. Next, this is, if you see, this is a 15 pin connector, 15 holes are there, like a 3 rows, 5, 5, 5. So this is a VGA to connect your monitor or projector. VGA type of projector or a monitor you can able to connect it. This is a COM port, communication port, or a serial port, RS-232 port. Usually this port and this parallel port are removed because we are getting a USBs. So it is USB, different types of devices we can able to connect with a USB with very simple. But these serial port or COM port usually connect to these bare metal boards. Okay, Raspberry Pi, like now it is Raspberry Pi, we can connect it USB only. But in our olden days, we have bare metal boards that is for communicating with them. So we use COM ports to connect and configure the switches, routers kind of stuff. We use the COM port, communication port. And exactly say for a external modems. In the olden days, we use some modem, external modems for connecting internet. Now we have Wi-Fi routers, that is separate one. So we have earlier days for internet connectivity, we have a external modems. From external modem to this COM port, we are connected to get internet with the dial-up modem kind of concept. Okay, parallel ports are usually used to connect the printers. In the olden days, we have a dot matrix printers. That time we are use this parallel port to connect printers. Okay, these are Ethernet ports to connect your system to LAN communication. Wide device you can able to communicate with the wire LAN connectivity purpose. USB, universal serial bus. You can connect your pen drives, anything you can connect, like printers. We can able to connect. These are the audio related things. One is like a audio mic, speakers, and line in. Three things are there. So these are the back panel connectivities. So what is this back panel once again? So here it is. See, this is PS by 2 for keyboard and mouse connectivity purpose. USB connectors, VCA connector, serial port connectors are like that. Okay. And I added LAN port here separately. So this is what is the LAN port to connect your PC to local area network, just LAN connectivity. Okay, and HDMI port, this is what I added. This is VGA port, this is HDMI port. What is the difference, guys? Okay, what is the difference between this? VGA port is only gives the display. HDMI is a high definition audio and video transmission. So you can connect it to LED TVs, LCD TVs, projectors, which provide like both audio video kind of stuff. Okay, so HDMI ports. Okay, these are the back panel connections of the motherboard. Nowadays, new motherboards having these LED statuses to make sure that is, for example, if your RAM is having a problem, RAM is not installed properly, or RAM is not working, then this DRAM LED will blink. DRAM LED is blinking means so RAM is not working properly. CPS LED is blinking means CPU is damaged or maybe CPU is not connected properly. So there is a CPU related issues. VCA blinking is there. When I was build my own system, that is i3 9100F processor. You know what happened? After I completely assembled everything, means I put a motherboard, processor, RAM, SMPS, and hard disk, SSDs, all are connected. fixed, and I connected to the monitor, and then I turn on my PC. Nothing on my screen. So I verified everything. Then finally I see this VGA LEDs blinking. Then I searched the documents related to this processor, and I found this processor does not contain any video memory. So then I have to install a graphic card to get display. Okay. So that's VGA related. Either it is video graphic card related or graphic card related issues are occur. VGA LEDs blink. Boot, any bootable disk are not detected. OS is corrupted or disk is damaged. Also, the boot LED will blink. Okay, guys. This is about your motherboard. What is a motherboard? It is a main circuit board where all your computer components are connected, either on the motherboard or to the motherboard. On the motherboard means on motherboard there is a sockets and slots like for a CPU, memory, and graphic cards, power connectors. What is that? Any adapters you can connect it. Okay. To the motherboard means you can connect your hard disk, SSDs to your motherboard, and front panel connections and the back panel connections also. Like you can connect your keyboard, mouse, your network, your audio, video. You can connect it to your motherboard in the back panel connection. Okay. And the different back panel, the connectors and their names also we discussed. Guys, understand about SMPS?
Yes, sir.
Sorry, about motherboard. Now we'll go for SMPS. What is an SMPS? Switch mode power supply. Switch mode power supply. Our main power supply is 220 volts or 230 volts. Generally, it is 220 volts AC power supply. In some places, it is 230 volts. Okay. But it is 220 volts to 230 volts. That's the main AC power supply. And it is with a 50 hertz frequency. 50 hertz frequency. In India and European standards it is. So we are using our main plug point connection in our home from outside to inside. Our main power supply is this 220 volts to 230 volts 50 hertz frequency because it is AC power supply. It is a sine wave. It is alternative current. It is alternative current, sine wave. But our computers are required, your mobile phones, computers, laptops required a DC power supply. What we required? We required a DC power supply. Okay. So your computer, laptops, mobile phone, all are required DC power supply. Your batteries, the battery is DC power supply. Okay. For some people, it is very silly, like I am telling the battery is DC power supply, main is AC power supply. Okay, sir, we know it. Of course, guys, you know it. Okay. So it does not mean you don't know. Okay, you know it. But thing is, some people may not be remember, maybe forget, or maybe don't know also possibilities there. Okay. So if any small differences are there, so for correction, I'm telling. Okay. So your computer require DC power supply, but your main supply is AC supply. Your fan is required AC power supply, so direct connection. Bulb is required DC power supply, AC power supply, direct connection. Okay, but this is DC power. So what it is? We are connecting our AC power supply to this SMPS. What is this SMPS will do? It converts AC to DC. Then we can supply this DC to our motherboard and the other components in the system, like a hard disk, like a CPU, like a CD-ROM. Okay, so that is we are Okay. What is the SMPS will do? It converts AC power supply to DC power supply. Even your mobile phone charger is a SMPS. It converts your AC power supply to DC, and the DC is go to your battery. In the olden days, we have a AT type of AT power supply is there, SMPS. That is a 6-pin plus 6-pin kind of stuff. Nowadays, later we got ATX. It is called AT extended 20-pin connector is there. Currently, we are using 24-pin. This is 20 and this is 4. So 24-pin ATX power connector, which is go to the directly to the motherboard on the motherboard. Next, and we need additional power supplies. Depends upon your motherboard. So either it is 4-pin, 6-pin, 8-pin, additional pin connector is there. Okay. If you go to the motherboards, that to newer motherboards, okay. So this is for 24-pin from SMPS connector. Like this pin, it will go to this on the motherboard to give power supply to your entire motherboard. So we are connecting power connector here. Okay, we are connecting entire power connector like this. We are connecting. This is the motherboard. This is the power supply. We are connecting. Okay. So another one is for CPU purpose. CPU. This is like this. See, this is separate pin connector, 8-pin connector, 4-pin connector, depends upon your system. That is a 8-pin connector, 4-pin connectors are there. Okay, it is go to the motherboard directly. Okay, on your motherboard, there is a direct SMPS connector. So you can see this is SMPS 24-pin connector and plus this 4-pin or 8-pin or 6-pin connector. This is separately for CPU purpose. It give more supply to this. Earlier it is not there, now it is there because the power consumption is not enough. Like from motherboard, CPU is not getting enough power, or it may require a more direct power supply to your CPU. So the changes are happened. So this is your one of the good motherboard. It is like maybe it is very costly. You can check from things. Okay. Okay, so this is the CPU socket, this is the RAM slots, and this is the SSD M.2. This is for graphics card. You can see that. This is small PCIX, PCIX. Okay. So this is additional power supply is required. So main power supply is 220 to 230 volts AC, 50 Hz. It's a sine wave. System components require DC power supply. SMPS convert AC to DC. And your system also not only one DC. It's not like only 12 volts, only 19 volts. It's not like that. Your system may require different voltage levels. Plus 12 volts, minus 12 volts, plus 5 volts, minus 5 volts, 3.3 volts, kind of stuff. Okay. If you see these different colors and voltages, see each pin have different voltage things. The COM means ground one, PS1 on means so power for power supply on kind of stuff. You know, when you power on your system, you just you power on your system. You press the power button. You just press the power button. Okay, so system is not starting. No power LED, nothing. No power LED, nothing. So first one is you have to check the from main cable to SMPS connection is there. In house, you have a power are there or not. At plug, are you getting a power supply? from power supply to SMPS, connectivity is there or not. And when you press the power button, so system is not turning on. What you will do, check the fan, backside of SMPS fan. I select this one only. SMPS. Okay. If you see the SMPS, this is a backside fan is there. You can see there is a backside fan. So if SMPS is started, then only power supply will distribute it. Check the fan is running or not. Check the fan is running or not. It means if fan is running, so most possible that is SMPS running. So if SMPS works, then only power supply. If SMPS not working, no power supply. So system won't start, or even if you start also, it won't boot anything, nothing will work. Okay, system won't start anyway. Okay, so there is a possibility it is your SMPS is not working, or maybe SMPS, the front panel button is not working or not connected properly on the motherboard. Okay. So here it is, one point is there, guys. Guys, understand what is the SMPS?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
So how to choose SMPS? Based on system power consumptions. For example, my CPU consume certain power, right? Like a 55 watts, and my CPU from 55 to 65 watts, my CPU will consume. RAM consumes something like a 10 watts. Or maybe I have a graphic card, it required something like some 60 watts are required. Entire motherboard have a lot of components. Those components require power supply. And also your keyboard is getting power supply from your motherboard only. Your mouse is getting power supply from your motherboard only, right? So like that, so from what are the devices getting power supply directly from your motherboard and your system from your SMPS directly. For example, I am using a wireless mouse. In my mouse, to operate, I need a battery. So there is a battery inside, no problem, to operate my mouse. But that USB connector is there now, that required power supply. When you connect, that required power, so it will draw the power supply from your power supply resource only, like from SMPS only, right? You have a hard disk required some power, right? Hard disk is required power supply. Your CD-ROM is required power supply, right? Each and every component required a power to work, right? It may getting a power supply from your SMPS, right? It not may, it is getting a power supply from, it should get a power supply from your SMPS. That is the point number one. Okay, so you have to calculate, or maybe you have to do some estimation, that is your entire system components, how much total power supply is required. So based on that, you have to choose an SMPS, what SMPS rating is required for you. So one is based on your motherboard and based on your components, the connectors are there or not. SMPS connectors are there or not. This outside connectors are there or not. Like you have a hard disk, or you have a SSDs, you have a motherboard, power supply 24-pin connector, CPU connector. Like first of all, the connectors, and another one is power rating. Okay, your system required power supply is 300 volts or 300 VA. So choose little more than a 300. Okay, so total system requirement is 300 watts. What you choose? Go for a 350 or 450, 400 or 450. You don't require to go for 1 kV, 2 kV kind of stuff. Not go for a 1000 watts, 2000 watts, not required. Little more than, means 100 watts, 200 watts, little extra. Why it is? Because when you install a SMPS, for a first time, system is working good. But if you add anything, like you add a graphic card, before graphic card, 300 is enough. And you've taken 300. Now install a graphic card, or maybe connected some external connector. Maybe you connected a printer. It need more power supply. It need additional power supply, maybe 50 watts additionally or 100 watts additional power supply is required. So it is not enough power supply to your from your SMPS to your system. System may restart again and again. Okay, if you don't provide enough power supply to your system, the system may restart again and again. So this is the fourth one. So here I have written 3 points. That is, if system restart itself to prevent your CPU from damage. So system is restarted again and again. One of the possible causes CPU is getting overheated. Another cause is SMPS is not giving full supply, right? That is 3 point. This is the fourth point. So if SMPS not providing required power to the system may restart again and again. Okay. So this is the fourth. Okay, guys, that is about your SM. Just relax the 2 minutes. Then I'm going to discuss about a different storage devices. Okay. Just 2 minutes, relax.
Okay.
Just